Hello, everybody. So we'll just wait. I tried to get started at 5. We had our internet out today, and so we are going to just wait a few minutes. I'm starting a little bit early, like I promised, so we can get through quite a bit, I hope. So we'll just wait for some more to join us. How is everybody doing? Yes, hello. Oh my gosh, it's Tuesday. Another new week has started. And as we're waiting, for those that are here, I kind of want to talk about the wedding album while we're waiting. Excuse me. What I've already done with the wedding paper. So if you get the kit, I had already done some separation. So what I did is I separated the bride papers that I was going to use for the bride. And now this is going to be more of the groom side. So I chose some of, the more guy colors. And if you get the kit, because I did say that you need 3 sheets, it's best to have 3 sheets of each paper in this collection so that um, you can have enough paper. I've been catching myself. Oh, hi, Sandy. Well, thank you. Now, how do we deal with the bride or the groom, or if you're making a gift with, but I want my bride's colors? We hear that all the time, right? And sometimes that's really hard. And a lot of times, if the colors are really um, off the wall, I won't match them. But I'm going to show you something. So the bride's colors, they are actually, this is for my neighbor's daughter. And she's doing what they're calling, and I've got to show you her invitation because it is the cutest thing. And I always do include the invitation. I'll cover their faces here for a minute. I mean, I'm sure they won't mind, but they are doing, you ready for this? A county fair wedding. I have never heard of that. It's so cute. Oh, Sandy, wow. Hello. You're right here in our state. And they're doing a county fair wedding. They actually can see my backyard. If you've seen my backyard or pictures on my Facebook, we have and we've put an old fence up to make it look like well, it looks old on the dog kennel. And then, so they love it and they want to use some of our stuff for backdrops. But is this not the cutest? Congratulating the newlyweds bouquet toss pinata cake. Cutest thing I've ever seen. So this is going to be an absolutely darling wedding. And as you can see, her colors are somewhat in this cute little invitation. It's hard to see. I know, it's just adorable. I'll take pictures because they're going to use the candy cart we made for the last retreat. There's a green, a peach, a yellow. Yes, these are kind of hard colors to work with. That's why I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to talk about how do we use colors and try to fit them into a wedding album where this is to me a little more formal. Well, I did find with the My Colors, and I don't recommend. She's got 5 colors. I don't recommend using more than probably 3 unless you want a type of paper, okay? 3 papers. And this is still going to be kind of hard with this collection. So I chose with the My Color Sun Glow and the Bluebells and Desert Cactus because they were really, they went really well with the colors on the screen, which I know it's very hard for you to see. But there's the green, the yellow, and the blue. So I wouldn't try to get all 5 colors or you'll go crazy. And it depends on how much you want to really incorporate this. But I did feel that those were the 3 colors I could incorporate because there is some of the blue that I can really bring out, and the greens and the yellow wasn't too bad. Now that's if you want to incorporate colors. And then for the grooms, usually you're going to notice, let me pull this up. Your groom, unless the paper has some specifics to the groom, your B-sides are going to be your papers that you're going to go to for the groom. And then you're going to use the cut-aparts. So again, we talked about 3 sheets, having 3 sheets of the papers. And these are the solids. I would also get those. But then you're also, it's going to be important that you have enough of the cut-aparts in the 4x4, 3x4, and your 4x6s. I have them over here because I've been working, like I mentioned, I got one side of the album put together because I had to make sure everything was going to be correct. So anyway, that was just a quick how to incorporate the colors for your bride. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you find that you're just having a super hard time, you're like, no, I can't find anything to go with this. It's just a disaster. That happens. You just make it with the colors that are in the collection then. The bride will live. I promise. I promise. But I'll show you because we're going to use a lot of these colors because I was feeling that way. How am I going to incorporate this? I'm going to be making the tags and the little booklets you'll see with this stuff. So, and I'll show you how I've sort of incorporated it. Okay, part 1, we have already made our album cover. So happy how it turned out. So thrilled. And I did the right side, which for me is the bride side. So I've incorporated the yellow here. And there are going to be 2 things that I'm going to use. So if you purchase the kit, it is mentioned on the website that you're going to want, if you want to use the glitters, then these aren't in there. So I also am going to use the gold dust because that's still kind of county fair. And black sapphire is going on the groom side. So that's going to be my bride and my groom. This will probably be the absolute adorable car as they're driving out. I'll show you where. So we're going to have some black in there, even though she doesn't have black as a color. And now the glitter cardstock comes in every color of every wedding. So you could also add that because you don't use that as a, well, I didn't use it as the focal point, but I used it as the fill-in point. Isn't that cute to double map? So, like I said, this is going to be, the right-hand side is the bride side. And, oh, thank you, Wendy. Yes, you've got to come visit, Sandy. And I got this far on this. And that's okay because at least I knew all my measurements were right. I didn't want to give you guys wrong measurements. Now, the other thing about this is we're going to make a long tag that can stay in the book, or and grandma or mom. This can be like given to the grandparents for the bride book, but see, she can take it out and work on it. That's what I wanted, simplicity here. So here comes the bride. I incorporated her yellow, and I didn't think it looked too bad. Color issues is the worst. And you know what? Black and white does work, but if you've ever worked with black and white, it can be a nightmare. I did put the yellow on the inside where her other photos will go. And then right in the middle, I'm putting something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. And I know that yellow is bright, but again, I'm putting it behind so that it's not really super bright, where it's not hitting you in the face. And this is, speaking of summer, I think this is a really cute, fun summer type wedding album. Less formal. Now the center and now the left hand side is going to be the groom. It mirrors the right hand side. So we are going to now do all of this, but on the left hand side. So if you did purchase the kit, you will have a cutting guide. Otherwise, get your notebooks out, everybody. We got some writing to do. but it's not bad, I promise. So I'm going to start actually at the bottom. No, I'm not. Let me kind of just move this a little bit so okay. Tags, booklet. I'm just inside tags. I want to take these away so we don't get things mixed up, our big ones. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start giving you some measurements. And we're not going to do the outside pockets first. We're going to actually start with what we're calling those inside flaps. So when I say inside flaps, it's going to be this. And we're going to be doing the one for the groom. And here's your measurements for that. Now, I had cut these, and then when I was putting them onto the book, I found that actually a different size works. So we will be cutting that down. So I'm going to give you those measurements. I've lost my notebook. Why do I lose every... Oh, I know where it is. Okay, we're fine. So what you're going to do is actually, this is 4. You need a 4 7/8 by 6. So don't just kind of ignore that. 4 7/8 by 6. You're going to need 2 of these, one for the left and one for the right. So you need 2 4 7/8 by 6. 2 4 7/8 by 7, 2 4 7/8 by 8, and 2 4 7/8 by 9. Okay, that's your inside right and left flaps. Then we're going to do our waterfall. So that's the 2 we're going to focus on. So for our waterfall, this is our waterfall in our pockets. And this is going to be the pocket that is on the inside. It's 5 5/8 by 5 7/8. You want 2 of those. 2 5 5/8 by 5 7/8. This is our waterfall base that we're going to build the waterfall on. And we need to build it on a base so we can pull it in and out of the pocket. This is 4 1/2 by 9 1/2. Then this has 8 waterfalls. So you want 6 in all. Not 6, 16 in all. And they are 4 1/2 by 6. I think I got a couple little guys too long here. So 4 1/2 by 6 inches. And you want 16 of those. Yeah, those were a little long. Okay, once again, 16, 4 1/2 by 6, 2, 4 1/2 by 9 1/2, 2 5 5/8 by 5 7/8, and our inside flaps are 4 7/8 by 6, 4 7/8 by 7, 4 7/8 by 8, and 4 7/8 by 9. Yes, 2 of everything. So you'll want 2 of everything, and then you want 2. This is just that little booklet on the waterfall on the front, just the flap. It's 2 4 1/8 by 4 1/4. 2 4 1/8 by 4 1/4. Okay, let's start with 4 of those flaps, and you'll see it just kind of graduates in size. They are 4 7/8. Oh, I think I need to cut mine down, so that will give you a little time if you're cutting yours, because I had originally cut them at 5 inches and they were just too tight of a fit, because that flap is, or that cover piece is 4 1/2 inches. When we go to mat, I do mat this after we've put it together, because it works better, because we have different little pieces. Now we can score. And it doesn't matter if you're starting with the big one or the little one. We're going to score them all the same. And we're going to have the 4 7/8 across the top of our scoreboard. And we wanted to score each one a 1/2 inch. We're going to just do all of our scoring right now. The pocket for the waterfall, it is 5 5/8 by 5 7/8. Now 5 7/8 is the length, so we want to start by scoring with the 5 5/8 at the top of our scoreboard. And we want to score it 1/2 inch. Turn so the 5 7/8 is across your top of your scoreboard, and score it 1/2. And back to our 5 5/8 of an inch side, and score it 1/2. And I'm really sorry about that 5/8 and stuff, but you know, we had to resize the album, and it gave us those odd eighths. I don't usually like to do that, but it happens sometimes, and we just go with it. 4 1/2 by 9 1/2. We are not even going to score this, of course, but before I do anything, I want to put my waterfall pieces. This is our waterfall base. I'm just making sure everything is going to fit side by side, because we can't really adjust this after we start laying it down. You know how waterfalls are. We have 8. Actually, you'll have 16. And we're going to score them all with the 6 inches across the top. You can either score it 1/2 or you can score it 5 1/2. This way it ensures you've got this whole 5 1/2 inch piece. And we're going to score, right now you can just score 8. You can do your other 8 later, or if you're just watching. If you're just watching and then going to go back, I would cut them all now. I mean, you know, when you're ready to, and get your cutting out of the way, because yes, we have a lot of little pieces, not super intricate or pop outs, or and I know pop outs are fun. We love to build them, but let me tell you what happens when they tear in your book. I just had one tear in my book, and I was so sad because it's not easy to fix. Okay, we are ready to start creating. You know, sometimes that cutter makes a bumpy there. So now we're going to just go ahead and burnish all of our waterfalls. We're going to do all the burnishing. And we're going to rescore that one. Didn't score hard enough. So again, this is a great, I think it looks really impressive when you get done because it has a lot of length to it. And it did come in the design as a necessity. I had to make these 2 albums for our neighbors. It's kind of terrible when you own a scrapbook store because they're kind of like, wow, I wonder if we're going to get a gift. Yeah, and I know what gift they mean because I gave one to their sister years ago. So how do I not give the other sisters? These families around here, they all have girls. I swear. This one family, kitty corner down the street. In fact, I can see her house from my studio. 5 girls, all getting married. No grandsons yet. They have like 3 or 4 little grandson or granddaughters. The house where the other one's getting married, all girls. Now down the end of the street around the corner, there's another house with 5 boys. And we always joke growing up, the kids growing up, that they were going to get married, but they didn't. It's really funny. So pocket, we're going to just go ahead and do our scoring. Well, no, I mean our burnishing. And of course, you don't expect time to go by this fast. And now they're all getting married. And your neighbor owns a scrapbook store. So what do you think they want for their wedding? Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to leave that folded for a minute. This is the base to my waterfall. So I want to just make sure I did cut that correctly. I did because it's going to slide right in there. And now we're going to go ahead and miter these corners. We don't have a lot of mitering to do on this one because we don't want to miter the waterfalls. Boy, you guys are quiet. And we do not have to miter these. Okay. We're good to go. But let's go ahead and put on these flaps. Remember, we're going to mirror what I've done on the right-hand side. So you'll just do this times 2. It'll just be turned around opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that. Oh, intensely watching. Okay. So with our flaps, let me move this so I can open it all the way. I've got to move my keyboard. What I did is I opened right to left. And so if you want it to kind of, whoops, let me move, getting my flaps together here. Okay. So we would go, we're going to put down this biggest one. I'm just double checking here before I tell you. And then, yeah, it'll come this way. So that the right and the left does open the same way, or you can flip it around. I like that better. So they kind of face inwards, if that makes sense. So this one, the opening of this one is facing that way to the opening on my, when I go like that, it's the far right. So we're going to start with the 7-inch. No, this is the 9-inch one. And when putting this on, what I did is I lined up, this is my hinge to the right. I'm going to line up this edge to the edge of my book. And then this is, I did measure this one because this is 9 inches. Our cover's 10 inches. And I just wanted to start off right where this is 1/2 inch at the top and a 1/2 inch at the bottom. So I'm just going to make, or get out your little spacers. Just going to make a 1/2 inch mark here and here. So I kind of have a starting point where my flap will be in between those. And now I've got plenty of room from the hinge so that when I go to close my book. Oh, is it that far to being done? Awesome. Well, when we get done here, got the countertops put in our kitchen. And yeah, I'm going to go up and clean out the cabinets. I mean, I don't have water or electricity, but I'm going to clean out the cabinets and start moving stuff back in from our pantry. But I got to clean out all the cabinets. Yeah, but that's fun when it's new, huh? Especially going into a she shed. Oh, yes. You're going to love that so much. Okay, I'm lining that up. Hinge to the right. First one will open to the left. Now, the reason I did it this way with the smallest one, on top, because as we open it, see how we get a glimpse of all the different, I liked that. So we've got the floral, the bride's shoes, more of her floral. You can see a little bit of the dress at the bottom. And each time we open, see it gets a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, now our next one, so I'm going to leave this closed. We want to bring out our 8-inch. And I'm just going to, my hinge is now to the left, and I'm just kind of hooking it over the page. And once again, you've got a 1/2 inch at the top, a 1/2 inch at the bottom. You can eyeball it, or you definitely can make a mark on your page. Now we want this to go down here, but I do overlap my page just so I can see that I have my spacing left and right. Then move the page out of your way so you can burnish down your hinge. Me too, Tomley. I'm excited to see what it looks like. Now our next one is the 7-inch, and it's going to go on top of this 9-inch page. Okay. Again, I'm just taking my hinge, hooking it over the page first to get an eyeball, because you should start seeing that cascading effect. 1/2 inch top, 1/2 inch bottom. And again, you can mark that if you want. Add your adhesive. And see, this also gives me time to move it. I can slide it where I want it to go before I put it down. Now you can also do decorative corners, make it super fancy if you like. Oh, don't you just hate that? But if we don't let them get their chores done, then yeah, they're grouchy. Now, our last one is the 6-inch, and it's going to go down here on the page behind the 7-inch. Same way. Terry, yeah, even having a basement or a craft room, unless he comes to find me. But my husband also has a shed. Used to be my warehouse. So I don't see him until he comes in for dinner. Okay, we've got that lined up. And it slipped. Easy fix. But we've been eating in my studio, thank goodness, with no kitchen, that I had this room down here. Okay, smallest one on top. Now, I was having a little issue there, and the way the page came over, so what I'm doing is just kind of reburnishing that so that it fits how I want it to fit. And now we're good. I did use a magnet. So I did use a large magnet here. And wouldn't you know it, I set my magnets where I would be able to just easily grab them. And I swear they grew legs and walked off from me. Okay, well, let's do this again. I don't believe that. I was so careful. What's new, huh? Welcome to my studio, where if you want to lose it, you will. Okay, so I've got a large magnet for there. I'll find them after what's new. Or they're stuck to my light. No. Yep, they certainly are, those little boogers. Okay, we'll put it back. Yes, you have to show your paper whose box, just like when you're sewing. So, I did, like I said, I did use a large magnet. I just feel you don't have to, but I just feel it looks neater. And just use one of your large tonic or basic gray. Mine is actually some that I'm still trying out, and I'm loving them. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. So what's nice is this is a great spot for the groom, his dad, maybe his brothers, and then his groomsmen. And I like that it will all be together. Sometimes you'll get into albums and it's like you got groomsmen here, and I like it that we've got it all together. So before we build our waterfall, what we're going to do is we've got to do the matting on the back, because we want to have our matting down before we put our pocket on, and then we'll do our waterfall. Now, we're not going to do a lot of matting tonight because I want to do the main building. I want to get the page and the pocket done here. Then we have time to do our matting on our other tutorials. But this is our 4 and hold on, I'm not going to tell you wrong. This is the 4 7/8 of an inch piece by 10 when we build our album. So I'm working on the groom side, and that's where I showed in the beginning. I used gold dust for the bride, and I want to use the black sapphire for the groom, just to add a little touch of glamour. But look at that. See what I mean? Then, if you just joined us, I show that I pulled out I love this car. These are the grooms, and I'm going to use the back side. And what's cool is their colors are the green, and I showed that in the beginning. Not a lot per se just for the groom, but this black. But I didn't want to do the black on black. I felt for this particular fun wedding that it was going to be too much. So you'll know and you'll have a feel of your brides or the couples. So either the blue or the green would be nice. And I did use I used green floral on her. So I think I'll keep the green here. It's the back side of the cars. And that will be our groom side. And we're going to cut our first piece. And really, this is such a good deal. This is the no shed glitter. That's why I'm kind of transitioning from our own because after talking to them and meeting them and seeing how much is in here. In fact, Tiffany was one who's, oh my gosh, you got to see this. When we were at the Alabama or Louisiana show, you get 5 sheets of the no shed glitter, 8.5 by 11. And I think it's what, $6.99. And go look at the colors. Oh my gosh, you guys, you got it. Or it's Craft Perfect. You got to go check out the colors on my website. You're gonna die. There's every color imaginable, and it is the tonic Craft Perfect. Fabulous, fabulous colors, and I love working with it. Okay, so we know our chipboard is 4 7/8. So we're going to go 4 3/4, and I'm going to mute you for 1 second. Okay, we're going to cut this at 4 3/4. We're going to need that piece for the, no, we're going to use some of that for the pocket. And it will be 9 7/8. Keep these pieces. We will use these. Okay. So this one is the wedding bells. Just married. But the green side's perfect for the groom. And we're going to cut this one at, because I do want more of the black to show. We cut this at 4 3/4. I'm going to cut this at 4 1/2. I want a full 1/2 inch there. And this will be 8 5/8. Oh, I can't wait to show you too. I always incorporate their wedding announcement when you saw this. So we are actually going to be incorporating this. This is just the cutest onto one of these big tags with a brad, so that usually I put them on the cover, but we'll put it on the cover tags. It's going to be so cute. Oh, what did I do here? Oh, I didn't cut the width, did I? Oh, it's too big. What did I tell you guys to cut? That should be 4 1/2. No, 4 7/8. Yeah, 4 1/2. What did I cut mine at? Looks like bigger than that, but that's okay because I need this 1 inch strip. We'll be using that. And apparently I can't cut. And this is why we always want more paper. Let's try this one more time. My husband came down. 4 1/2. Yeah, I cut it an inch too short, but that's okay. We're going to use that. And 9 5/8. 9 5/8, not 8 5/8. 9 5/8. Not wasted, because you're going to use that on a tag. Well, it sounds like you're going to have a little road trip, Sandy. Now let's double check our fit. See how, I wish you could see how beautiful that is. If you have it at home, you'll see how beautiful that glitter paper is. Looks very manly. Now, Sandy, you're not, well, let me see. No, you're not up by Spring City, Utah, are you? That came off a little bit, but it's going down at the bottom. I have to pay attention here. Very important if you're using the adhesive on the glitter paper, especially that you get it smeared around. Oh, you're down by price. Okay. Well, Sandy also. Oh, okay. Well, you ought to sneak up here for a weekend in October when we have our retreat there in Layton, Utah for 3 days. And you could meet our other Utah girls. Again, I'm just making sure everything's down. Okay, pocket. We've already done the scoring on that. I'm going to check my fit. And we are going to put this right on top. And it's going to cover the main matting, but the glitter still shows. So I want to make sure my glitter is peeking out on the sides. I know on camera it doesn't even do it justice, but in person it's impressive. Now, if you're not going to use the glitter, but you've got the kit, don't worry because you've got black. I needed to show you this. You have black and blue, and this is the coordinating. That's actually kind of a bluish. So the coordinating papers, or you can use whatever coordinates with the wedding. So that would be a good place to add those different colors. You do have to press pretty good with that um, on that glitter paper. This is the base, and I just want to slip it down in. Make sure nothing's stuck. And it should go almost all the way in. We're good. And I'll now see, now we've got gold on one side and the black for the groom. So let's put that aside for just a bit. Let's grab our base. Now, we all have different ways to put our waterfalls together. A lot of us don't like to put waterfalls together. I like to use my scoreboard. It just makes it a lot nicer, and I do put mine on upside down. If I could get it figured out, Michelle Allen on our design team with this 8 has a really simple way, unless you're me. No, it is simple, where she does, it's really cool. So does Tiffany. I need to learn it. So anyway, those would be good options too if you just do not like waterfalls. But I think this just makes it simple. Oops. And we're going to just reburnish our score line there. So what I'm going to do is, like, I put it on upside down using my scoreboard here to keep my edge straight. And then we'll just put it right up to the top. There. Okay. Then our excuse me, our next one will start where that one ends. Now, see, I'm going to close it and check it. As long as it's good, you can go ahead and burnish it down. And I check every single one of them because it's easier to rip it off and fix it now than it is after. Now I wish somebody would have twins because I want to make this album for a set of twins. Would that not be the cutest? And if I had the paper, I would do thing 1 and thing 2. I just think that would be such a cute baby album. Oh, well, thank you. Well, they're going away on Thursday. Time for a new set. Don't know what I'm going to do, but we'll see what she has in mind. And so just go slow with this. And you're going to make the left and the right side identical. Oh, you do, Sandy Soul? That would be so cute. Now, are they married? Even if they got married years apart, that'd be cute to do a wedding, an album with both brides. One bride on one side, one on the other. So again, like I mentioned in our tutorial for the cover, this will also be a really cool family where you'll do paternal, maternal on one side. And I have been working on that for my granddaughters. So more than likely, and this, like I said, this album will hold a lot, and I can go through and do, the history on the waterfalls. Because really, I'm not going to give them all of it. Just because when your parents pass on and they just don't quite go through everything with you and you're finding it on your own, you know, but the grandkids are starting to ask, and I'm like, I don't know. So now I'm having to find everything. So I do want to give them a little bit of their own little history, and I think this will be a nice one to do for that. Lots of options. And I think you're going to love that it doesn't take a lot of time. And this book is versatile. You can do so many different things, and I'm going to show you that when we go to do some pockets. Look at that. It's even better than my other one. I always say craft better in great company, right? When we're all together. Uh-oh. Oh, got glue everywhere. Thank goodness for pattern papers. I gotta make sure they're not sticky. It's a lot of glue. Okay. Now let's burnish this flat. It'll get messed up again when we go to put the pattern paper on, but that's okay. And then you're just going to slip that right in. And those two sides, except for our matting, we've got our matting to do. That's what really transforms everything. So that is finished. Now let's do the center part. So I can move this for now. Okay, those are going to be our pages. We want hinges over there. So right now, before we do our pages, we want a center pocket. And your center pocket is 10, well, it's 8.5 by 10 and 7/8. So I always cut the smaller first, 8.5 by 10 and 7/8. And then we have that huge tack that will fit inside that is 9 by 9. We may have to adjust this, but if you want to cut it, it's 9 by 9. And then we're going to score our center pocket. Now we're also, because it's 10 inches, I cut it just a hair short because we have the hinges now. We don't want to have a mess there. And we'll see if we have to mat. We may have to do some matting on the back cover, but I really don't think so. It'll just depend on how you put your album together. So what we're going to do is we want to start with the 10 and 7/8 across the top of our scoreboard. And we're going to score it 1/2 inch. 8 and 1/2 across the top of your scoreboard and score it 1/2. And back to our 10 and 7/8 and we're going to score it 1/2. And that's all the scoring right now. So I want to go ahead and just, let me move this cord real quick. It's going to get in the way. There we go. Burnish the two sides. And I don't want to cut them yet in case we need to trim. I don't think we'll have to, but we're always going to check. Okay, with our album open to the back. Perfect fit. Not in the way of my hinges. Nope, we're great. Won't have to mat. I was afraid I may have to mat side to side. No need. The retreat, Sandy, is over on countrycraftretreats.com. And it's 3 days, but it's full teaching like this. Tiffany will be teaching from Let's Get Scrappy, myself, and Kim from Kim Can't Stop Crafting. And of course, Tanya. So it's not a crop. You don't have to bring a lot of stuff. We provide you cardstock and everything. But you can go over to countrycraftretreats.com. It's separate from the main website. And I bet you Tiffany might even put a link up for us. And if you've never, I mean, you've seen Tiffany and Kim teach on camera, but to see them teach in person is a treat. Their personalities, they're just a lot of fun. And you get to spend 3 days in one room with all of us. We keep you hostage. Oh, yeah, Tiffany, you know you're a hoot. Okay, we are going to put this down. Yeah, she is crazy but fun and great, great teacher. They all are. Tanya, she's another one. She'll be our Wednesday. But she too is a hoot. And she, if you've never gotten to see them teach, yes, that's right. Jenny can tell you all about that. Don't get in Tiffany's car. Okay, down that goes. In between our hinges, remember to stay right on that inside. Perfect. Burnish that down well. Okay. Now, the inside tag, like I said, was 9 by 9. perfect fit. So I'm just going to set him in there till we are ready to mat that. And actually, you could even go 10 in 9.5. Now I may make that double. We will see. Now the next thing we want to create, so I have one finished to show you, is the pages. Because this was now resized, see, our pages now are going to fit in there very nicely. So happy. Wendy helped with that, her husband. And so we are going to now create the hinges, because this is a hinge, but it's a lay flat hinge. And I did that in my G45 way back in the that one ocean one. Loved it. And then we have these cool tags. So the whole thing about this now was a place to start with our beautiful wedding day with this ring. So the ceremony, the reception, more of the reception. Congratulations to the bride and groom. And then we've got forever and always. That's probably going to be where, you know, the send-off goes. Their sparklers are going. Everybody's going crazy. And then the happily ever after as they're driving away. And then again, they could do, if it was me, I would put like getting on the airplane to my honeymoon. Well, if you're going to be in Hawaii, I think I'm going to go with you, Jenny. I think that maybe Tiffany can handle the retreat and I'm going to Hawaii with you. Okay, so we're going to create those hinges. We're going to create the pages. And so we are going to have to, excuse me, we're going to want to mat the back of this pocket or the front of this pocket because this is going to go on top. Now I do want to mat that first because we're going to put the pages down undecorated. And look what we've done. And then all you have to do is do the right and the left. And you're going to be ready for us to decorate it on Friday. We're going to be done next week. So you want to pick, okay, that's my groom's paper. So let me come over here. And I am going to do the booklet exactly like this. And I ripped that out. Can you tell? Of the original one. I was like, I'm not losing that. And so what I want to do is pick something that's going to go with this and maybe even incorporate, as we had talked about, the bride and groom's colors. I am having a mental problem trying to incorporate the colors, so I don't think I'm going to. We're going to use them strictly on the tags. I just, yeah, I can't do it. But I do have to have some double matting here. And actually the green and the blue on this. We got a little bit of blue for the groom. We got some green for the bride. And then we'll have the booklet sitting on top. So we don't want too busy of a pattern. But I do want to double match. Let's measure. Okay. We've got an odd size because it was 10 7/8 if you remember, and we took off an inch. So now it's 9 7/8 by 8. 9 7/8 by 8. And I'm going to start with the blue. And this one, if you're following along with wedding bells, is, oh, and you know what? These would be so cute to fussy cut. This is Happily Ever After. And I am going to cut the smaller one first. at 7 7/8 because this is also directional, and that will leave me all those little flags. And then it's 9 7/8. So we'll cut this one at 9 3/4. And we are going to just double check our fit before we put everything together. Looks good. Then I'm going to go 7 5/8 on the second layer. We did 9 3/4 for that one, so we're going to go 9 3/8 on the top matting. Writing with Tiffany will get you punched in the nose. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So I just want to double check. You're not going to see the top and bottom very much because the book will basically cover it. It's my sides. And I want that to look really nice. And I'm happy with how that looks. We've got the blue and the green. And the green is, mostly the greenery. So it's quite neutral. And it's not really so much the inside of this book that takes up your paper. It's going to be your cover because we're working with those big 10-inch long pieces. And it takes about, with the inside, 4 to 5 sheets on its own just for the matting of the cover. Again, I'm making sure, see, my paper is flat because I'm using glue. And I don't know if you can see the difference. Once you get your matting going on your waterfall, this lays so much better. Yes, we need you, Tiffany. You guys, I had forgotten about that. Oh, that's right. She gave you a receipt for her nose. I forgot about that. Why didn't you guys film that? Jenny, you guys, you really should have filmed that. Oh, the things that happen at retreats. Make sure there's no glue. Okay, my base is ready now for our hinges and pages. So let's create those. And then, we're way ahead. So our hinge piece is 5 1/2 by 6 7/8. 5 1/2 by 6 7/8. So make sure you guys are writing this down. or go back on the video. So 5 1/2 by 6 7/8. And I'm hungry. I got to eat soon. I only get hungry when Tiffany pops on. And we are going to start scoring our hinges real quick. We're going to score with the 5 1/2 across the top of our scoreboard. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Normal hinges. And we're going to start at 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, 4 1/2, and 5. We're just going to set those aside. Well, I made a lot of dinner last night. We're just going to have leftovers. I only eat really spaghetti leftovers. Okay, 4 pages. 4 pages that are 7 inches by 12. So 7 by 12. And we are going to put these in our scoreboard with the 12-inch across the top. And we're going to score at 6. Just score all 4 of those right in half at 6. Tiffany, I would love to have seen that. Here, have a receipt. Your nose is bleeding in my car, but have a receipt. Oh, Sandy, that is so nice. Tiffany, you could have offered her your shirt. Just so everybody knows, this was on the way to my store during a retreat. Yes, we do go to the store, and trust me, there's plenty of people there to give you a ride. And if you ride with Tiffany and get a bloody nose, just make sure you have your own receipt with you because she has now used her only receipt. Okay, we are going to, I use my scoreboard because I want to keep my pages perfectly straight. And we are going to burnish that score line in half at 6. Yeah, bring lots of tissues. And we want to keep those pages straight. We say that, but then we notice, nope, we're not straight. I cut something wrong. Yep, there's a little piece down there at the end. Much better. Sort of. There we go. Okay, pages are ready. Hinges. Now we need to, how big are these? Oh, Jenny, They are 7 by 12, and you want 4 of those. Did you get your hinge? Because your hinge is 5 1/2 by 6 7/8, and you want to score 1/2 all the way down on your 5 1/2 across the top of your scoreboard. I use my scoreboard for everything. I'll be like, wait, I got to get my scoreboard. The girls will say, measure this for me. I need my scoreboard. I measure, I do everything. Okay, I take a little bit off of each end. So, puppy, what are you looking at? I got a puppy here. Hold on. She takes the garbage out of the paper out of my garbage can. So I'm just going to take a little off of each edge. And then my hinge will lay nicer. Okay, we're just going to start by folding one in half. Yeah, I hope he doesn't either, Tiffany. You know what's funny? I don't think many of our husbands do. Okay, now I just use my fingernails actually, and then I'm going to fold those two back. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen mine watch. Now we still want to gusset, so we're going to skip that 1/2 inch and we're going to go to these two and we want to pinch those together. Again, leave a gusset and go to your next two and just pinch them together. Hey, I love Gunsmoke. Pinch these two together. Mine very seldom watches TV. He's too busy building. Okay, there's my 4 hinges. I'm going to turn it over. Should be nice and shaped for you. We're just going to glue those together. Oh, I hope so too, Sandy. I'm sorry to hear that. That's stressful. Extremely stressful. Okay, my last one here. And now we'll fold it back into the lineup here of hinges. Now, I don't know if all of you watched that video, but I used to make hinges that were never straight, and it didn't matter. They still went in my book, and it was all in the scoring. So if you've got a scoreboard that comes with this, see the difference in sizes? Make sure you're using the tool it comes with. It's made to go into the grooves. And I found it has made a total difference in my hinges, especially because they're not all wonky anymore. So if you didn't get that when I shared it a couple videos back, I just found it so much nicer. Now, here's the thing. If you've never done hinges, it's kind of like these are like naked hinges. There's no spine. And so they're a little bit different. So we're going to take our book and we're going to open it all the way because here's the thing. We have to find out where these hinges are going. Now we can put these on here off of our book. I just think it's easier if you've never done it before to do it on the book. Usually I just do them on my scoreboard, but they do move around. So one thing you have to do first is grab your hinges. You need to grab a page. Okay. And what we're going to do is just kind of put it there as if that's where it's going to be. Because you do have to find out where to put your hinges. If you put them right here and go to put your pages down, it's not going to fit in your book. So I know I want my last page to be, let me show you, basically centered. So I'm just going to hold this because what I'm looking for is symmetry, so that these two sides, I don't want it clear. Well, you could put it clear over to the left-hand side if you like that look and have more of this showing. I wanted as much evenness on each side, I need my ruler, as possible. I'm using my green matting. I'm just measuring to the green mat. So at the end of the page, that's 1 inch. How are we over here? Nope. So it looks like we're going to go, I'm going to go I'm going to go just a little over 3/4. It's not going to be perfect. Nope, looks like more 7/8. Okay, 7/8 of an inch. Now, we're going to have a tag that sticks out. And you want to allow at least 1 inch headroom for that. And I didn't want it to stick over my pocket. So I'm going to bring my pages down to the bottom of my mat, my second matting. 7/8 there, 7/8 there, and a pencil. So now I have my mark. Or you can just measure now because I just told you. So 7/8 of an inch from the left-hand side is where your first hinge will be. And I brought it down just a 1/16 of an inch from the bottom. Or you can line it up with that double matting, the green. That'll be fine too. And then we're going to glue this down. Whoops. So you only have 3 sections here to glue down. You don't want to glue that one down. So there we go. Put those hinges in there. There's my mark. going to cover my mark just a hair. Making sure it's straight. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I did use them in there, didn't I? Yes. Oh well, yeah, but I did it as a book. Yeah, these are the exact same hinges, Sandy. I'm just using them different where they're not going to be on a spine. They're on a flat surface, basically. But they're, yeah, the hinges are exactly the same. And we're just not attaching them into the spines. Now we need to make sure these are down good before we start putting our pages on. I'm just going to go through. I do, if you know my videos, I spend extra time burnishing it. Just, it's important with glue. Okay. And it's important to get those hinges going back and forth so they're not stiff. Perfect. But we do want them kind of like a Venetian blind. Okay, let's get our pages. Look at this. We are doing so good. Right on schedule. Okay. Our first page. And you're going to butt it right up to that hinge. You're going to have just a tiny bit sticking over the top and the bottom. So that hinge is in there nice and neat. So you don't see it sticking out over the top or bottom. Use your matting to kind of keep things straight. Now see, I'm not straight there at all. Okay. And if you're not straight down here at the bottom, it's actually okay. It just means I didn't put my hinge on perfectly straight. And it's just not going to be even noticeable. So I've got it butted right up. It's butted right up to the bottom there. On goes my glue. I kind of get a shadow. You probably will too, from the hinge as to where the glue should go. So it's kind of cool. And just like we're making hinges in our regular book, you want to flip that back. Okay, so we want it open at the top, glue on the hinge, and across the bottom. Then we'll close that up. Now that's going to be what we line up our pages. So that one. Oh yeah, you need the flour sack. They are so great. And if you go to Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on Facebook and just um, search flour sack, I think I have the link in there. I used to. They last forever. Okay, hinge down. Especially with white, white paper. See, I use it instead of my finger because the white paper is going to pick up everything on my finger. Everything. And page 3. Okay, Tanya. Well, we are almost done here. We're doing these pages, and that's been like 2 hours. Look how good we are doing. So I got that bottom page a little off, and that's okay. And we've got a few pockets to make on Friday, but we'll be starting the matting on Friday. Oh, I didn't flip it over, but that's okay. We'll get it here in just a second. I flip it over. See, it actually, I don't know why it helps, but it does. Whatever it does to the paper, it just helps it. And page number 4. So you can actually add even more pages if you need to. Yay, Tiffany, you got your exercise. You and me both. Actually, I'll go out back later and play ball with the dogs, and then I'll get some more exercise. Yeah, I need to get moving on that area of my life, exercising instead of just my hands. Squeezing a glue bottle. Okay. Let's just make sure everything here. I think the one thing. Oh, you guys, you know what? I just noticed something. Tanya, if you're still there, you have down that we need insert for pages, 54 of them. I have to fix that really quick. Oh, I can't. Okay, we will get that fixed. Yeah, Tanya, it says 54, 5 1/4 by 7 1/2. That's the little guys that are going to go in here. And see, I don't have mine cut yet. So we don't really need them now. So that's okay. It's a really big book, I know. So there is our pages. And they will be turned into this. You know, I almost just stuck this one down, but I thought that wouldn't be fair to you guys because I have to show you how we mat it. It's actually really easy. And I'm going to use the glitter again because I loved it in this book. There we go. We only need 4. You need 4 inserts, not 54. It says 50, it was just a typo. It's the ones that go with the kits that we're mailing out. So if you purchase the kit, you've got a written cutting guide. Otherwise, you're just writing it down with me. So there's our 4 pages. Then you've got your waterfall. You just want to build one now on the right-hand side. And look at that. It fits so nice. Okay, Friday, we will, which is our next tutorial day, we will actually create the pocket for the outside here. Here, I'll show you 2 different pockets if you want the corner or if you want the lay flat. And then we will map the inside. Super, super fun. And then look at that. It just will come together so nice. Sits there. And you know when an album comes together this way, you know it's meant to be. Right when it's meant to be. So there is the insides. And I will see you guys Friday night when we are next crafting together at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Bye-bye.